What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. I hope that you guys have some pretty cool stuff planned for this weekend. And by cool, I mean even hanging at home and meditating or napping all day so you can practice dream work counts as a very eventful weekend. So if you're like me, you have a lot planned, which is that. I have some tips that I thought that I would share with you guys as far as the relaxation process to actually get to lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences if that is something you're going to be practicing this week, next week, whatever it is. Also, the lights are off because number one, it's Friday night, so it's just more chill that way, and number two, I have been up for a very long time. I've been taking care of Juno. He got something removed from his leg, so he is in a cone right now. He's on medication. I've been taking care of him, and my eyes are so sensitive to the light. I've been working all day. I have my blue light glasses on to help a little bit, but if I'm squinting and the lights are off, that that is that is the main reason why. What is up, William? Thank you so much. We are just kicking back, chilling today. Technically, it's Saturday, moving here in Colorado. Oh, that's true. That's true. I'm Pacific time now, so you're right. It's already Saturday for a lot of you guys kick it or tuning in, and probably a lot of you seeing this on the replay. It will be the weekend too, so we are already started then, so that's great. I'm the one that's a little bit behind. I'll be catching up soon. I hope that you have had an incredible week, William. It's so good to see you again. It's cool that I'm actually finally able to see you on the streams instead of the time that I was streaming before. It's cool to play around with the stream times so far. I am loving Friday nights. It works a lot better for me. I think it makes more sense with the topics that we're talking about. So I'm excited to hang out with you guys more. And so thanks for stopping by, William, for sure, really. And for all of you who are here for the techniques, the tips. If you have questions while you are tuning in about what we're talking about, feel free to put them in the chat and I will get to them. Really, I've been getting a lot of questions in the Telegram chat about the actual process of the techniques we talk about. So not necessarily a specific technique like wild or wake back to bed or something, or like an out of body technique, but really how to even relax enough to get to the mind awake, body asleep state, or even just relax enough to even get out of such an overactive, stimulated awareness that we are in during the day. You know, beta brainwaves were very in our minds, we're thinking about tomorrow, and obviously that's one way to completely kill your uh, relaxation during your techniques is if we are using our mind instead of dropping into our body. And so I just wanted to touch a little bit on that to give you a couple tips on how you can relax a little bit more for your techniques, how you can prevent yourself from just falling asleep immediately, and just how you can kind of create the perfect setup for your lucid dreaming and your out-of-body experience techniques. Again, if you guys have anything to add, again, questions, whatever it is, stay a while. Come hang out. Let me know that you're here. Let me know what's up, where you're at in your practice. So really when it comes to the relaxation for our techniques, it really is, first of all, about how we are feeling. Tune in to how you are feeling. You will know if it is a day that works for you or it doesn't work for you as far as how you're physically or emotionally feeling when it comes to your techniques. If you are so tired that you cannot keep your eyes open, or if you just don't really care about dreaming that day, there's going to be days where you really don't care about your practice, and that's just part of it. You can't be completely passionate about inducing a technique or having a lucid dream all of the time. So go off of when you naturally feel like you have more focus or energy to put into it. Again, even though you are just laying there and meditating, it really does take a lot of energy. First of all, you're laying there for hours sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but I have had meditations where I am looking to induce a lucid dream or an out-of-body experience, and I am laying there for hours. And little did I know, of course, I was always learning, and I'm still always learning, but especially when I first started, there were a few things that I didn't know were getting in the way of my practice. And number one, we've touched on this a million times, but if you are trying to relax for your techniques and maybe you're using cannabis or something to relax, like, of course, that is amazing for helping you relax, but as far as getting you into the right state for lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences, you may find it a little bit difficult. You may get too relaxed and fall asleep. You may lose focus during your techniques. You may just not have solid enough recall because THC does suppress REM sleep, which is where a majority of our dreams occur. And so if you are using substances that suppress REM or medications that suppress REM, it is just a good thing to keep that in mind, that could be interfering with your practice. And if you ever take a tolerance break, or you ever want to play around with your dosages and that works for you, maybe that's something to consider, especially if you're not remembering your dreams. If you're not remembering your dreams with actually trying to dream journal daily, and you are doing that bit of work and you still aren't remembering your dreams, then I would definitely look at anything that is suppressing your REM sleep in particular. It's been 1 week since my near-death experience, and dream energy is on fire. I feel like I'm living a dream. I can only imagine. Oh my gosh. I hope that you are doing well. It probably has been a little bit wild to like process and integrate that. I'm sure that you're seeing a lot of stuff in your dreams right now after all of that, because even like the little day-to-day experiences that we have, they still show up in our dreams. We still have emotions come out from those experiences. And so something as traumatic as that, and like life-changing, if you will, obviously, yeah, I can imagine that you'll be dreaming about that for a little bit. And I'm I don't want to say excited is the wrong word. I mean, I'm obviously glad that you're okay, and I'm excited about the dreams that you're going to be having. But I'm excited to see how that progresses, and if you have anything interesting that you'd like to share on that. Again, thank you for hanging out with us last week after such a crazy event, and seeing you again, obviously, is a blessing. It's been a while since you've hung out with us for a bit. Obviously, we saw you last week, but Friday nights seems like you're around a lot more, so that's great. And I'm glad that you're doing better, my friend, seriously. So, again, watch your intake with anything that could suppress REM, if that is something that you are really trying to work on. Environment really does play a big key as well. Again, even something small like it being too hot or too cold, or the volume on the TV being too loud, all of those things could really interfere with your practice as well, especially once you're kind of like in the mind awake, body asleep state, and or getting there anyways, and you're a lot more sensitive to stimuli, like just how your clothes feel on your body, and the surface that you're lying on, and if you hear anything happening outside, think ahead when you're planning to have a lucid dream or an out of body experience. Like, take into account what's going to be happening and how you can like prepare for that. Like, when I lived in an apartment, it's so crazy to still say that because I'm still getting used to being out here in Washington. But in my last place, our upstairs neighbor was very loud. And I do love dogs, obviously, but she had a lot of like big dogs that were like always barking and like scattering on the floor, and you could just hear their nails constantly and just like super loud barking. And so I got lots of like little earplug things and a sleeping mask, because it was really, really bright light coming in super early in the morning. And so I would wake myself up. I created a little bed on the floor the night before for my technique because I found that I relax way more in my bedroom where my dog is and everything, at least in that apartment. That area was the most relaxing for me. And so I planned ahead and would set up my little bed area where I'm gonna wake up when I turn off my alarm, go lay down, to just do my technique, you know. And I had my sleeping mask there, my earplugs there, and it's like an event. Like it literally is an event. And the more you can kind of have more fun with it too, I think you more anticipate the experience. And I'll a lot of the time I wake up before my alarm and I'll wake up during REM, and I think just sometimes the excitement of it and preparing for it and preparing your environment for it can kind of help you in that sense. Again, it's a perfect balance between not focusing on it too much and being like mad if you don't have the experience that you want. It's but also like, of course, setting your intentions right and preparing in the right way so you can set yourself up to hopefully achieve something close to that. Um, and You don't have to practice in the same place in like where you sleep. I recommend at least getting out of bed for a moment and allowing yourself to wake up a little bit before you go back to bed. If you do want to practice in bed, like again, your brain associates where you sleep with bed and sleep so much that it could cause you to fall asleep a lot easier. Of course, I've had several lucid dreams and out of body experiences from my bed because the timing was right and I was in the right state and so on and so forth. But it is worth experiencing or experimenting with finding a little place, a little safe haven outside of bed that you can use to practice inducing lucid dreams and out of body experiences, because I will tell you that just the like slight unfamiliar area of like you not being where you usually sleep, sometimes that's enough to give you that slight edge on awareness and focus. And like for example, when you go to sleep on the couch or when you're at a friend's house, like I don't know, like growing up, if you were someone that was able to just sleep super deep at your friend's house or wherever you were, it didn't matter where you were, you were able to completely knock out. I was not like that. I was always a very light sleeper. Speaking of sleep, I need to yawn. Anyway, I would like be slightly awake all night. Like, my friend would be sleeping way, way longer than me. I would be like the first one up in the mornings, and that type of thing is kind of perfect for this, because just that slight bit of awareness, even when you feel like you're asleep. Like, have you ever been meditating and your eyes are closed and like you're not really thinking at a certain point, but you almost feel like you're it's so weird to explain. You're like obviously half awake, half asleep, but you're having these thoughts, but they're kind of like in the back of your mind. It's almost like happening in a dream, but it's not a full dream. It's almost like you're in between thinking and having a dream. I If you can relate to that, let me know. But I enter this state that, you know, I am kind of awakened, but I am kind of aware of what's happening, but yet I'm like deep enough into relaxation where like dreams can kind of start forming. That's something I've been able to kind of enter for as long as I can remember, really. And I still enter it now, just differently as an adult. When I was a kid, I was doing it by accident, just not being able to fall asleep and just kind of like thinking and then just kind of sitting in the awareness without realizing what I was doing. But now I try to, you know, create a structure, a process to do it. And I definitely would say that if you can do it when you're still tired, like your technique, do it when you're still tired, but you have enough sleep under your belt where it will take you a second to fall asleep. Like you don't want to be so tired that as soon as you lay down, you completely fall asleep. It's really a timing of how you feel. Again, like the very first point that we were talking about, really observe how you feel. You will know if it's the right day, if it is the right time for your technique. You want to feel pretty rested, and you could definitely sleep more if you laid down and relaxed for a little bit, and eventually, after a few successes with your techniques or with whatever you're doing, you're going to start to see, oh, okay, it seems like this time of day definitely seems like I fall asleep the fastest, and maybe I start dreaming the quickest too. Like, for example, we dream more in the mornings. The last half of our sleep is primarily REM sleep, and so you will dream more near the mornings. So if you have any times where you could time your techniques for the mornings, maybe you get to sleep earlier one night and you wake up a little bit earlier than normal, right? And that little shift in your routine or like your schedule is enough to give you that edge of awareness. Like, I'm telling you, if I go to bed an hour earlier, I'm dreaming way sooner in my sleep cycle for some reason. Like, Chance, he stays up pretty late, like sometimes 4, 5, 6 a.m. And usually I wouldn't even remember dreams really until after he already went to sleep. But sometimes, like, even before the 90-minute mark of my sleep, I swear that I'm remembering dreams and waking up from like vivid dreams. So I would just recommend playing around with the timing of your techniques and start to feel it out. And I recommend keeping some sort of like tracker or dream or some sort of like experiment science notebook, okay, for your scientific records, of course. If you're like me, make an Excel sheet, make a Google document if you want to. That's totally fine as well. Really, you're running experiments, you're seeing what works and what doesn't work. You're creating a hypothesis of the experience that you desire to have. You are setting up a process that you're going to run, and then you're going to see if the result matches your hypothesis, and if not, what went wrong, what can we change, what went well. And you're documenting all of that. Eventually, you're going to start to run into patterns. Now, this is really if you're like really wanting to see, okay, show me the nitty-gritty process, what's going on. I really want to know, like, how to create the perfect process to be able to repeat experiences. Like, this is definitely what I recommend doing, because there are going to be some things that are kind of fundamentals to all of this, and then there's going to be some slight differences that work better for you than they do for me, and vice versa. So I recommend taking all of the info that resonates, even maybe some of the stuff that doesn't, putting it out so you can see all of it, and just figuring out where you want to start and taking it one step at a time. But again, relaxation is truly the biggest piece of it. It really is not about the specific type of technique you do. If you are in the right state for these techniques or like for these experiences, they can happen spontaneously without you doing anything. Techniques are more for nudging the experience to happen, kind of pushing it along. If you just set up the right state and just like maintain awareness, you will see the momentum kind of happening on its own. And what I mean by that is, like, maybe you get the slight vibrations, like you're trying to induce the vibrational state, for example, and you like get slight vibrations and you try to start your technique in that when it's like not all the way started, you can kind of feel it, but it's like it's not necessarily intuitive. Like, you're trying to find the right state, basically. Sometimes it happens upon you without you even wanting it, trying it, whatever. For me, when it would happen without me even trying, would when I would fall asleep randomly during the day. Maybe I was watching a movie or something on the couch during the day, and I kind of dozed off. During those times, I'd notice that I get sleep paralysis pretty easily. if I fell asleep really early in a place that wasn't my bed, like again, the couch, sometimes I'm like with Judo and I fall asleep on the floor, I don't know. Um, Anytime those weird experiences happen, oh yeah, sometimes I fall asleep on my yoga mat. I like be like, okay, I'm gonna stretch, I'm gonna do yoga, and then I just fall asleep on the floor. That happens, okay? That happens to all of us, every single one of us sometimes. And all those experiences are times where I'm probably more likely to get sleep paralysis because, again, it's like that slight difference in environment, or time of day, or just like test these things one at a time so you can tell which one is the actual thing that's making the difference in your practice. But all of these are important to test out. Again, when I first started learning to do this stuff, like have lucid dreams and astral projection, all of that stuff, I hardly did it in my bed. I would set up like different areas in my apartment, and I didn't even have furniture at that time. Like I literally didn't even have other furniture besides some like couch I got and then my bed. So, but the couch wasn't comfortable enough for me to like wake up and actually go onto it and have an experience. Every time I tried, I would just lay there forever. And so what I would do is I would take the cushions off the couch and I would line 3 of them up by my bed, like on the floor, and then I would like tuck tons of sheets and blankets around it so they stayed together and it was like a little bed. And then obviously I just thought about the things that I needed for my practice, so like headphones, because I would listen to like different guided meditations or different like whatever. Have all of that by my bed. That way, as soon as I wake up from my alarm to have a whatever lucid dream, whatever I got. Okay, I was gonna try to do something, but I would wake up and then I would just immediately get on the floor and lay in that bed, and I would just imagine floating for a while. Like I would just imagine kind of I would take my couple deep breaths and I would just imagine completely letting go and disassociating with my body. My favorite thing that really always worked for me was just getting to the point where I just felt like I was floating in space. I could see it, I could feel it. I would listen to these soundscapes of like what different planets sound like, how it's like just that kind of like eerie hum or echo, and they all had different frequencies. Oh, this is what Saturn sounds like. Okay, like that's kind of honestly what my music, kind of what started my music channel, I think, was that very spacey, dreamy, kind of almost eerie ambience of just floating in space, the unknown, but it wasn't scary. It was just like this vast, intimidating, empty space. And even just perceiving that with my awareness in meditation is like crazy. You should definitely try it. It's very hard to explain what I mean by that. I've talked to Andy from Cryptic Encounters on his podcast about this because he would do a similar technique when he was younger. But it's like when you're meditating, and again, this would happen to us spontaneously, so I really don't know how to explain it. But you're like meditating, right? And all of a sudden, you're just this tiny dot in your awareness, and you just feel like the room, the space around you in your awareness gets so massive. All of the walls melt. It just goes on forever, just infinite space, and you're just this tiny dot, but you're looking from above, like from an up. I don't even know if this makes sense. But it's like that happens sometimes. That still happens. It doesn't That would happen all the time when I was younger, when I would try to go to sleep. It's like almost leaving my body, but not. It was just from like my perception from where I was looking changed. I'm not sure how to describe that. And not too long ago, it happened again, like probably a couple weeks ago, and I was like, whoa, there's that thing again. It's been a while since I've experienced that. I don't know what it is. But if that makes any sense to you guys. If you can play with your awareness. Oh, I'm so glad that I remembered this, because you want to talk about games with perception. This was everything I did for out of body experiences. I totally forgot. This was like the shit I would do every day, dude. Like all day. So you just play with your perception in itself. Like every single thing that you see around you, it has its own perception from what it would be like to literally merge or integrate with that object. And it's like the target technique when you lay down to meditate and you imagine that you're standing from the corner of the room. It's playing with what you can imagine yourself as. Like maybe you're laying down for your meditation and you have a ceiling light. So it's like, I wonder what it'd be like to perceive from that angle right now. And if you get good at doing this, like if you really start playing with that and being able to change how you perceive reality, like at will, that is super duper helpful for techniques. Like really, and it's very fun too, because you can choose like a target before bed, like an area in your house, for example, and all of the different smells associated with that area, colors, feelings, like tastes. If it's not the kitchen, I have some questions, but hey, I mean, if you want, you can. There was someone who talked about that, where for their techniques they would like not only touch walls, but they would like lick them. Don't ask me, dude. And they would imagine that during their meditation, and just the sensation of imagining licking specific textures like brick or something would cause them to be able to induce lucid dreams. And then that became their reality check, was um I don't know how they made that a reality check. Licking the walls they were around. That doesn't sound sanitary. That doesn't sound safe. I probably wouldn't rely on that. I probably wouldn't only rely on that type of sensation for your visionary techniques either, because hey, I definitely recommend including your sense of taste, but I definitely recommend including all of your senses as much as possible. Okay, so you can do whatever you want and however you want, but just make sure to include as much experience for yourself as possible. Like if you're doing this technique for, you know, let's say the target technique, and you're going to imagine sitting in a specific area of your home when you are in meditation. You really want to take in that entire area as if you were actually sitting there. What is on the walls? What color is the walls? Like, what does it sound like? How many sounds can you hear when you close your eyes in this area? And again, your brain does not know if you're imagining something. It eventually thinks it's actually happening, and you can tell because you can feel your heart rate react to stuff that you imagine. And during meditation, this is how you can literally shift out of body, is by visually imagining something so vividly for a split second you actually forget that you're laying down. You forget for a split second what's happening. That's it, dude. You're literally shifting out of your ego, out of this identity, literally out of this version of yourself. You are shifting with just pure awareness alone outside of your physical body. That's really what an out-of-body experience is. People think that their souls are projecting, that they're going to get lost out of body. Nothing can go wrong. You're literally shifting your conscious awareness out of your body. You are completely, you being alive tethers you to your physical body energetically. Like, you do not have to worry about that at all. It's more difficult to stay out. It's more difficult to maintain these deeper states of awareness. Like even a lucid dream, like I don't worry about, oh my god, am I going to be stuck in this lucid dream forever? Are you kidding me, dude? I am trying every fucking thing I can to not wake myself up, to keep the dream as vivid and colorful as I can, you know? So no, the superpower comes in your ability to hover between awake and asleep, and to visualize so strongly that you start to trip yourself up about it. Like you just truly can assume whatever state through visualization. And kind of where I was going with the floating technique, that's why that works, is because when I imagine me floating through space, eventually I start to disassociate with my body, which means my brain forgot where the physical body is, because the visual of what I'm imagining is so strong that it starts to assume that that is what's actually happening. And when I start to disassociate with my physical body, that's when I start to experience that separation between what's happening up here and what's happening within my physical body. You can start to feel that through sensation. Like, this is when sleep paralysis can really start. The symptoms of sleep paralysis can really start. So at first it feels like a light tingling, a little bit of numbness. Sometimes you'll feel those myoclonic jerks, which is literally the feeling of falling, and you feel like you just barely, catch yourself. That literally just happened to me the other day. It used to happen to me a lot more as a kid. And I'm curious why. Maybe just because we took more naps or something. I do notice it happens more during naps. I don't know, but that is a survival instinct to kind of prevent you from falling out of a tree or, you know, somewhere dangerous if you're high up. And so if you experience that as well, that's obviously a sign that you're starting to enter a deeper state. And it's going to be very subtle kind of cues at first. It's going to be very, very light physical feelings like tingling or buzzing. You may hear some auditory stuff. I usually don't really hear too much auditory stuff unless I'm like way deeper in, like music, sometimes like my name. But that's when I hear my name. I don't know if you guys have heard this. It's like when you're in a deep meditation and then you hear like your name, but it's coming from like both ears, like inside your head, but it literally feels like it's someone's right there saying your name, and it like wakes you up. All of these things, again, there's nothing to be scared of. You're literally shifting awareness. You are a multidimensional being, first of all, and your conscious awareness can not only become aware of multiple states, but several states of consciousness at the same time. So when we are going through this deep process of meditation and like entering the astral plane, for example, you go through this like really weird process where you almost observe shifting through the density of one reality to another. And to me, it's that like really heavy rumbling sound that you can hear sometimes when you're about to induce an out of body experience, or when you're about to astral project. This pulling or like tunnel sensation. I don't. There's a lot going on, dude. It's so hard to explain. I'd have to like write it out in bullet points is my style. Like, okay, here's all the sensations I experience and just write them out. Um, but let me just say, if you feel like you're going crazy, then you're probably close. You're probably on the right track. If you are like, what the hell is going on? I've never experienced this before. Oh my God, is my bed actually tipping? Wow, what was that? Am I dreaming? What's going on? You're on the right track, okay? And again, the best thing you can do is get really good at relaxing and get really good at staying aware and get really good at visualizing. And I remember a specific time when I was inducing an out of body technique and I was just imagining myself in a hammock. Sometimes I cycle through techniques when I'm in the experience, and sometimes I just stick with one technique so I can fully report in my journal or whatever, if that is a useful technique or whatever it may be. But I remember just imagining that I was rocking in a hammock, and right when I was about to give up or switch techniques or whatever, I felt the feeling in my belly of swinging in a hammock. I felt the air on my face from swinging in a hammock, and it is so trippy when you start to shift to your energy body, because it feels more real than this reality. You literally feel like again, my first technique was like feeling like I was slipping off the bed, and that was easy to like gaslight myself into like, oh no girl, the fucking mattress, it has to be slipping off the bed, like there's no way that. And then as soon as you sit up, everything, you're just in the middle of your bed, everything's fine. You're like, dude, that felt so real. get used to that, I will just say. Because you will have a lot of experiences where you're gonna wake up and be like, whoa, what the hell is that? Was crazy. Don't get mad if you can't immediately get back to those experiences. There's just going to be times that are meant to refuel you and remotivate you. You're not meant to have the exact same experience twice. It can be really easy sometimes to get hung up on experiences, but just try to flow with whatever is happening. Do your best to obviously go in the direction that you want to go in with your experiences, especially if you get lucid. If there's a specific type of experience you want to have fun and feel like you can play. But yeah, just make sure to explore and test things out and not take it too seriously. Because the moment you start uh, feeling like you should be doing better in your dream practice, or you're not doing enough, or you're getting mad at yourself for not having a lucid dream in 2 weeks, like, you take the fun out of it. You take the childlike curiosity that gives it that energy. Like, I truly believe it's created on that energy, and the more you can have fun with it, the more you can care about it. Like, truly, it's like it can sense it. It's like your subconscious mind knows when you're ready for something. And I don't know, you just get these signs, and it's weird how even signs from your dream world or your subconscious seem to still show up in reality to guide you. The synchronicities don't stop in one reality. I feel like they work together in a lot of cool ways. But just really focus on relaxation, really focus on being able to maintain awareness in that relaxation, and get really good at visualization and being able to sense a feeling of movement. Again, practicing dissociating from your physical body with imagining that you're floating in space. If it's helpful, look up those weird, like, ethereal space sound ambience things, if that is helpful to you. Again, I'm really obsessed with astronomy, anything to do with the universe, space. I love documentaries on that stuff. I love watching videos and simulations on that stuff. I follow a lot of science channels on that stuff. And I think, I don't know, it helps, the out of body experience practice, because it's very in that world. Like, lucid dreaming is like inside of our own consciousness, inside of our own subconscious, and out of body experiences in the astral planes, it's like we are traveling outside of ourselves to explore that. And so it definitely feels more otherworldly, not as familiar, and I find that information that my mind has saved about what certain frequencies on different planets sound like, and what the temperatures are like there, and what it feels like to be out in infinite space. I feel like all of that, those little pieces, really come to life in my experiences when I'm in deep meditation, or when I do have a lucid dream about it, or I'm transitioning to an out of body. Like, the more you're learning, the more you're immersing yourself in just experiences, the more it really does feed your practice. So get curious, watch some cool stuff on this, even if it's helpful. My second channel, again, it's kind of based on that type of stuff, and I would go back, especially even to like earlier tracks, like even a couple of years ago, because my music it evolves slowly, and each month on the sleep music channel is different. We do monthly batches, and we try different things each month. And I've been working with my business partner Misha on the second channel for about 1.5, 2 years, and before then it was all just things that I solely have put together. And so you can see how things have changed based on things that I have learned in the process, based on who I have worked with, based on the things that have inspired my music throughout time. And I hope that you do find stuff that you like on there that does feel your practice, because one of the things with my channel is, like, there was not the right music for the type of techniques and meditations I was doing. Like, for me, I didn't like very sharp instrumentals like piano and violin and stuff like that. I'd wanted very spacey, very floaty, very ambient, very stuff that I could like zone out to and just like melt away to, stuff that just like I don't know, was just very echoey and ethereal and just like dreamy, and I couldn't find really what I was looking for, and so that's why I created the second channel, was literally for techniques and sleep, and I don't know. So I hope that it does something for you like it's done for me, and I still use my music every single night. I literally test every single track that comes out, and it's still obviously helping my practices, so definitely let me know your guys' experiences too. But that's the type of sound or like kind of ambiences I would go for. If you're looking to induce like an out of body experience or something very floaty and ambient like that, and then it will kind of go with that visualization I was talking about of floating in infinite space, and it's very relaxing. That was like my go-to to imagine. And then for lucid dreams, I would imagine the most beautiful place that I could ever imagine on earth. Because I don't know, lucid dreams, I feel like they're definitely more bound in this like earthly realm, because it's kind of like a collection of who you've been up to this point, your experiences, your likes, your fears, your desires, the people you know, the people you want to know, whatever. And so um, that's kind of where I put my focus when it comes to lucid dreaming, and in that process of relaxation or deep meditation, that's where I'm going, is what is the most beautiful place that I can imagine. And to me, I love meadows. Like meadows during the golden hour is like my thing, I guess you could say. That's what a lot of my paintings are based on too, is like these like really beautiful dreamy meadows that I've seen in my dreams and stuff. I have this one place that I go to a lot in my meditation, and that I try to focus on when I am working on getting lucid. But it's like you're on the top, I guess, I don't know, maybe the Pacific Northwest. I don't know. That's kind of makes sense now that I'm here, that it would be here. But I've had this visualization long before I even thought of moving to Washington. But it's like at the very top of this hill, and it's like the very long, beautiful grass that like blows in the wind, and it like opens up into this. It's like a forest clearing almost, and so it like opens up, and again it's kind of higher up, and when you look down, the ocean's right there, and then you're in this like flower meadow, like wildflower meadow, but then you look all around you and behind you, and it's just like pine trees. It's just like forest, just like lush forest. So you have the deep forest, you have the wildflower meadow slash forest clearing, and then you have the beautiful like shore. And so like think about all the senses that really brings out. Like for example, wildflowers, when I'm in my visualization or my deep meditation, I can imagine all of the different types of flowers that I smell. I can imagine the woody smell of the trees, which I love a lot. I can imagine the feeling of the sun on my skin, the rain on my skin if I want, the wind on my skin, the ocean. The ocean's right there, so I can imagine hearing the ocean crashing on the shore. I can imagine hearing birds. I can imagine hearing the grass kind of softly blowing in the wind. Because it's like, I imagine like an Alice in Wonderland moment where I'm literally laying in very tall flowers and like tall grass, and I'm just like looking at the clouds, and like that is the happiest place to me ever. Like, I can't, like, that is peace to me. Kind of like also the scene in Totoro too, where she first like lays on Totoro when she falls asleep for the first time. It's kind of like that. It's like all the same type of thing, like all evokes the same thing in me. And that, and see, it lights me up too. It makes me feel closer to that world. It's easy for me to imagine that world because I feel so connected to it. And I think that's what we want to look for when we are learning to work with our dreams, and when we are learning to induce them consciously. Again, you want to evoke emotion, you want to call upon all of your senses, and you want something that is fun to get lost in, because it's really, counting sheep is really not the game when you're like trying to maintain awareness. You want it to be fun. You want to get lost in your imagination. Like, what is the most beautiful place you could possibly imagine? Ask yourself questions. You can imagine anything. That is a world that is all yours. Like, what are you doing with it before bed? That is such a perfect time to yourself to just daydream. And that's the perfect manifestation technique as well. Like what is the absolute best for your life that you could possibly imagine, even if you don't think it's realistic at all? Like, daydream about that. Like, how good can it get? Like, do we ever do that? It is so fun to do that. So whether you are trying to have a lucid dream that night, or whether it is you're just trying to create uh, a a dream place you can travel to, even just in your mind, when you want to feel at peace. Or maybe it is you want to start tapping into more possibilities and more timelines for this reality that you could experience. It really, like, the time before bed is so valuable, and also that really is what seeps into our subconscious the most out of anything that we experience during the day, is what happens before bed. If you have a memorable experience happen before bed, you're more likely to dream about that. And so why not create one? Why not create your own memorable experience before bed? But yes, what's your dream place? What is, if you can imagine the most beautiful place like in the world? Oh yeah, I didn't even tell you about the sky. That's like a very important part. So the sky in this place again is like golden hour, and there's still a beautiful light blue, kind of cerulean blue sky. But it's later in the day because it's the golden hour, and so there's tons of beautiful clouds scattered across the sky, but they are really soft, dusty pinks and dusty purples. And so it's just this beautiful combination of that soft blue sky with those really dusty pink and purple clouds, with the golden sun rays coming through as the sun has a couple more hours of light left, and again through the trees, just that golden light through the trees. And I love when the sunlight really creates that beautiful, just like light that just like kisses the top of the grass, and you can just see the little puffs of dandelions in the distance, and see the little colorful flowers just become so much more vibrant because the light is just hitting right through the tops of the flowers. Oh my gosh, that is like the best. And I always call out that stuff when I see it too, because now I live in Washington. I see all that stuff way more often. I'm like constantly feel like I'm out of breath from gasping at how beautiful nature is here. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. And so, any way you can immerse yourself in the places that you want to experience during your dream, or in the emotions that you want to feel in your dream, like whatever it is you want to dream about, immerse yourself in it when you're awake, however you can, even if it is through your mental rehearsal and visualization before bed. But if it is something that you can experience in waking life too, remember, your subconscious literally saves everything. It saves a snapshot of every single thing that you experience throughout your life. All of the sounds, all of the smells, all of the things that you've tasted. And so call upon that in your visualization. Call it to the forefront of your mind, so that your subconscious has a lot of stuff to pull from too when it is creating your dreams that night. We can choose the dreams that we want to have. We can influence the dreams that we want to have. And again, this is called dream incubation, and it's almost kind of like these visualization techniques are kind of incubating a specific dream, but they are great even just for getting to the mind awake, body asleep state. Like, whether you want to use this technique at the beginning of your meditation, or right when you start to feel sleep paralysis and you want to shift into a lucid dream or an out of body experience, this technique is really good to use at any time. Because the more you can build deep relaxation, the more you can build focus, and the more you can build your visualization skills. Those are really the key points to be able to induce lucid dreams, out-of-body experiences, deep liminal dreaming experiences, and not only be able to induce them, but be able to repeat them. We are, again, running our own scientific experiments, and so it is possible for us to repeat the exact recipe that we've put in and got success with. Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining. Again, Will, John, Scooter, what is up? Anime Girl, what is up? What about Ty Ben Bells? Totally, like literally, that is. And what I would do is I would come up with I would write it out, as far as the place that you're imagining, like kind of like we create our ideal dream life on this channel, how we always talk about that ideal version of yourself. This dream place that you're going to imagine in meditation, like, again, make this a place that you call upon frequently, that you add detail to. Again, whatever we start to create and solidify as real within our minds, it really does become a real place in some sort of reality that we can shift to. And if you could lucid dream to this place that you're imagining in meditation, like, what are all the details that you would want to make sure that you thought out if you knew that you were going to lucid dream there? Like, it really gets you thinking about all those little details, all those little things that's going to make it a magical place to you. And again, like, once you start dreaming of these places that you are daydreaming of, in your spare time, it's going to make you so much more connected to them. Again, any way you can inspire or inspire yourself or think outside of the box for what this world could be, definitely do it. But if you already know, like, in your heart of hearts, like, what the most magical place would be to you, like, take time to really create that out. And if you don't feel like you're creative, being a dreamer and a lucid dreamer is going to prove you wrong every single step of the way, because every single thing that you dream about is creative. Every single thing that your mind comes up with is creative. Every single thing that you dream about and lucid dream about was created by you. And so you're just calling upon that same intelligence, and it really is not anything that, it's not like you're being asked to paint or draw something. It is really about what means a lot to you, what lights you up, what is the most beautiful, divine experience that you want to start creating as real on some level, so we can truly allow ourselves to experience that. It's very hard to experience something when we don't allow it to first exist and teach ourselves what it feels like. That really goes for anything, and that's a topic for another day. But yeah, I hope that this was helpful to you guys. Hello, Moon Spirit. I am doing great. How are you? I'm definitely pretty exhausted from the past few days because my little Juno bear is healing, so I've been taking care of him, and I've been totally off my normal schedule. So I think this upcoming Friday, things should start to kind of balance out and get back to normal. Oh, good. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and stopping by. It's so good to see you. Yeah, I'm so excited to see how many of you I get to see more often now that we are streaming on Fridays. Again, there isn't a specific time to all of this. Last week we streamed at 8 p.m. Pacific time. This time it was 11 something. About 11 p.m. Pacific. And so we're just feeling it out. Next week I might try for, like, we might go earlier than last time. I'm just figuring it out. I'm just playing around, exploring. So maybe we'll do like 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something next week. But yeah, I am very excited. I think it makes more sense, again, for the type of stuff that we talk about, to not talk about it on the mid-Monday, but during a time where we actually have time to practice this stuff. I have something on my wall that talks about always go for your highest inspiration first. This is called self-discipline, which I love, because sometimes we get so stuck in, like, what to commit to in our practice. And sometimes we know what one specific thing really lights us up right now that we feel passionate and inspired by, but we feel like we have to do these other things. And really what you feel the most passionate about, what you feel the most connected to and lit up at the time, that's where the most potential is. That's where the most energy is. And so we should actually be following what our highest inspiration is first, and using that energy to its fullest, and allowing that to guide us. So self-discipline, maybe add that to your to your practice to explore, especially for dream work and stuff. But I love you guys so much. I'm going to induce a while tonight. Have some lucid dreams. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to hear about it. Definitely update me on that. And I wish the rest of you some amazing lucid dreams tonight. Again, I hope that you got something from our chat today. Those truly are the biggest points, is really mastering deep relaxation, mastering awareness in that deep relaxation without falling asleep, and really focusing on deepening your visualization skills and the ability to use your senses through consciousness alone. And once that really starts to feel real, again, your brain thinks it's a real experience when you can really master visualization, focus, and relaxation all at the same time. So I can't wait to hear about your guys' experiences and see you this upcoming week. Friday night again. We'll aim for 7 p.m. Pacific time. And if it changes, I will let you guys know in the Telegram chat. And if you guys are not in the Telegram, let me see if I can get you the link really quick. It's going to be very bright for those of you who didn't hear. I haven't gotten very great sleep the past couple days, and it is so bright for my eyes. I have literally been at my computer all day too, and feel like I have not been able to see anything. So hello Dave, we're just ending. All right guys, and there's the Telegram chat. If you want to join, come hang out with us. That is where we stay connected outside of our streams. If you have experiences to share, you are looking for support, or you just want to come hang out with the community, then come hang out. All right guys, love you so much, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.